The Guardian's been through a really significant shift over the course of the last 10 years. We went from being the 10th largest newspaper in the UK to being one of the largest English language news vendors, and premium news vendors in the world. So our profile and our audience has rocketed through that process. And of course, the last 10 years has also been interesting from a media buying perspective, as our customers pursue the dream of automation, and I suppose which really kind of sends a clear message to all publishers and us as to how we need to be set up in order to transact in an automated world. So the last 10 years have been a journey of transition and change, and which is ongoing, and we've reached a point where today in the UK we're 80% programmatic. Programmatic is important to us in Australia and the US as well, of course. Slightly less in terms of the overall percentage, but it's gone from a minority sport 18 months, 2 years ago, to the very centre, the core of our digital advertising business in a very short space of time. And on that basis, we have a really clear view as to what we need to be doing strategically, and I suppose the level of ownership that's required to operate in the context of that environment. Control goes beyond just data. I suppose it depends on a broad definition of data as well in itself. What we recognise as having happened over the last 10 years as publishers have introduced technology into their ad stack is that actually they've lost control of their inventory and their audience, and I suppose in short, lost control of their supply chain. And again, we've gone from programmatic as an experiment and a minority support not so long ago to this being the core of our multi-million pound digital business, and it means that we have to take it seriously. And whether you're producing content and ad engagement as we are, or whether you're a premium fashion brand like Louis Vuitton, you need to control your supply chain. And I suppose that's where we come from when we talk about the need for control of our supply chain and our data, and the decisioning within that as well. We believe them to be our assets, and it's important that therefore we make the decisions as to how they're presented to the market and how they're priced. And we do so in partnership with our technology vendors. We have some really important relationships that mean that we benefit from capability which isn't our own, but we do distinguish between technical capability and our media sales business, which we believe is our prerogative. The obvious statement, Facebook and Google are dominant in terms of their share of the market. Influential in terms of, I suppose, how that power converts into the way the market begins to operate around them, and they're also important partners of ours. Again, we distinguish between the technology capability that we need to operate as a publisher in the context of the environment that I've spoken about, and which is different from the demands that Google and Facebook can bring to us specifically. So again, we believe those are important demand partners. They can bring us media and help us make money, and we distinguish between that and our appetite to control the technology and the auction decisioning itself. So there's quite an interesting dynamic there, and I suppose it does mean that there's again, multiple appetites for control of our business that we have to navigate. What we think is really significant in the last few weeks is vendors' announcement that they anticipate or intend to change the way the programmatic auction works. Again, I talked about our appetite for control of our auction, and we're looking at that, I suppose, view it through the lens of there being partners within our supply chain or publishers' supply chains who have an appetite to change the way our business works. And we have a view on that. We think that's our prerogative, and we think there's going to be an interesting debate to be had. And it's really important that other publishers get involved in that, as well as marketers, because we think that that is a decision that the market needs to make together, rather than to have a subset of it make that decision for the rest of us.